Hi, I'm Steve and I'm here to help you help more people buy a Rodeo. To do that, we're going to cover what's new in the 2002 Rodeo model range. We'll talk about the kind of work that people put our product to and the type of bodies that they need to do that work. And we'll also talk about the terminology used in conjunction with light commercial vehicles. But before we start on all of that, let me give you the dirt on Rodeo. Rodeo has been working in Australia longer than most of you who are watching this video. The Rodeo name was launched in 1980 and so has been carrying the loads of Australians for over 20 years now. Over that time, the engine's increased in capacity and power. The petrol engine has grown from a 1.6 litre to the grunty 3.2 litre V6 all-alloy power plant that provides outstanding performance both on and off the highway. The diesel engine's popularity has grown with its increases in size. It's evolved from 1.9 litres to the 2.8 litre turbo that you're no doubt familiar with. That engine now has a big brother, the 3 litre intercooled turbo diesel, which is unique to Rodeo. This is not the same 3 litre diesel engine available in the Jackaroo range. Transmissions developed too. The original 4-speed manual gearbox was replaced with a 5-speed. The optional smooth-changing automatic transmission was introduced first on the petrol engine and is now available with the new 3 litre intercooled diesel engine, and it's on crew cab variants. You see, the automatic offers the ease of car-like driving to our light commercial range. Each change in engine size, each addition to the model range, saw a corresponding leap in buyer acceptance. Sales grew from 2,969 units in 1980 to over 8,500 in 1990 to 15,400 in the year 2000. 2001 year to date sees us smack on target for another cracker year. People who needed a light commercial vehicle as a tool for their business saw the cost benefit of owning a Rodeo, and Holden saw the benefit of offering more than just basic models. If you helped somebody buy a Rodeo in the 80s, they had the choice of just a pickup or a cab chassis in either 2-wheel or 4-wheel drive. Today you have a staggering 25 models in the 4x2 and 32 models in 4x4, covering single cabs and crew cabs, space cabs, cab chassis and pickups, with or without airbags. You can offer a manual or automatic transmission, diesel engine or a petrol engine with either 4 or 6 cylinders. And when it comes to hard work, Holden Rodeo is still not afraid to get dirty. With the DX, you've got models that can work all day in the worst of conditions and be hosed out ready for the next day. And then there's the LT Sport range that can work all day and play all night. And in between you have the LX and the LT range that offer passenger car comfort with the ability to handle the toughest of loads. Your customer could be a farmer or a quarry company, could be a builder or a plumber. They might be a private buyer, a fleet buyer, a local or a state government department. This could be their work vehicle. This could be their recreational vehicle. It could be their second family car, or it could be a combination of all three. You see, there's a Rodeo that will meet everybody's wants and needs. Okay, so let's look at what is new in Rodeo's 2002 model year lineup. We'll break this up into grace, pace, and space. First, let's look at the pace. New in the pace department is the 3 litre intercooled turbo diesel engine. It's available in the 4x2 LX crew cab pickup with a manual transmission, and in the 4x4s it powers the LX single cab chassis, the LX space cab chassis and pickup. It's offered in the LX crew cab and the LT Sport crew cab pickups with either a manual or automatic transmission. Now this engine is one of the most powerful in its class, with 96 kilowatts produced at 3,800 RPM. That's 11% more power than Mazda's B-Series, or the Ford Courier, or Toyota's Hilux. And yes, the recently released Nissan Navara 3-litre turbo diesel is reported to produce 110 kilowatts of power. But don't let that fool you or your customer. Just put your customer behind the wheel of the new Rodeo 3-litre intercooled diesel, get them to drive it, and then ask them, does this vehicle produce the kind of performance that you need? So what's the benefit of our new diesel engine to your customer? More power means that not only is the 3-litre intercooled diesel fast on the freeway when fully loaded, not only can it offer rapid acceleration, but it can be more fuel efficient at the same time. How can it be both powerful and fuel efficient? I'm glad you asked. The engine features the Bosch VP44 fuel injection system, which is based upon high-pressure direct injection. This provides better power because it delivers not only the right amount of fuel at the right time to the right place, but it also delivers the fuel in a very finely atomized spray. And that facilitates the air-fuel ignition process. This means a better burn pattern, and that means every drop of fuel is used more efficiently, and that means increased performance. And if we increase performance, it means that we save fuel. And if we save fuel, we save your customer money. Here we have the next feature that provides an increased performance benefit. It's the top-mounted intercooler. Now, the intercooler works just like the radiator, except that instead of having coolant flowing through it, it has air. And that's air that comes from the turbocharger. Because the turbocharger compresses the air, it means that the air going into the engine is hot. Now, you remember from your school science classes that when air heats up, the molecules move further apart. Now, if we can cool that air, as well as compressing it, we can actually get more air into the engine. We get more bang for our buck. In fact, the intercooler gives us about a 10% performance improvement. And if we increase performance, it means we save fuel. And if we save fuel, we save your customer money. It works by directing the outside air via this bonnet scoop over the radiator-like area. Technically, it's called an air-to-air heat exchanger. Just like the radiator, it removes heat from inside and it passes it down under the vehicle. A major feature of the intercooler is where it's positioned. It's high-mounted, up here where it's out of the way of thumps, stumps and lumps and bumps. Compare that to the diesel intercooler as fitted to the Ford Courier or the Mazda B-Series. Now, theirs is located down low at the front. Intercoolers were not intended to work as crash energy absorbers. To reduce engine stress and increase engine life, the turbocharger operates at a low boost level. The turbocharger body has direct water cooling, and engine oil under pressure lubricates the bearings. And what this means to your customer is the virtual elimination of turbo warm-up or cool-down procedures. And remember that a longer engine life means reduced cost of ownership. So the 3-litre turbocharged intercooled engine is smoother, quieter and more economical. So who would benefit from this engine? Any customer that needs to travel over distances with or without a load, such as a courier that operates outside of the metropolitan area, builders, plumbers, mining companies, that sort of customer. Anyone that needs low-down lugging plus sustained high speed coupled with the diesel economy. And that economy just got better. This engine, when compared to the current 2.8 litre diesel, offers a whacking 20% improvement in fuel economy based on a motorway cycle. Now, don't forget that you still have the 2.8 litre turbo diesel in the 4x2 LX single cab chassis, in the DX and LX 4x4 single cab chassis, as well as the 4x4 LX crew cab pickup. Now, a great feature of both of these engines is the 10,000 kilometre oil change interval. Of course, this is conditional on the use of the correct engine oil. Another feature of this strong engine is that the turbocharger is also kept cool by circulating engine coolant throughout the housing. And lubrication is by way of engine oil fed under pressure to the turbo bearings. Now, as I said before, this all adds up to increased engine longevity, and that means lower cost of ownership to your customer. Now, petrol pace is by way of the 3.2 litre all-alloy V6 engine with quad cams operating 4 valves per cylinder, which ensures that the engine gets plenty of fuel-air mixture for the maximum performance. But more importantly, that the exhaust gases flow out quickly and completely. That ensures that we maximise every drop of fuel that goes into the engine to produce power. This engine is designed for commercial operations. Maximum power and torque are developed at low engine revs. What this means to your customer is impressive hauling power, bags of low-speed traction, and more than ample power for towing. And speaking of power, this engine produces 140 kilowatts of power and 265 newton meters of torque, ensuring that Rodeo has both petrol and diesel engines that meet the competition head-on. And again, we offer an alternative petrol engine in the reliable 2.2 litres. Now, this is available in the 4x2 DX single cab chassis and crew cab. Now remember, the DX crew cab with its front and rear bench seats will seat 6 Australian-sized adults. And there's a great story underneath too. The V6 models are fitted with a protection plate under the radiator. And to protect the driveline from damage, all V6 4x2 and 4x4 models feature high-rise front suspension that provides extra ground clearance. All 4x4 models have guards under the radiator, transfer case and fuel tanks to offer greater protection to these vital components. Well, we've discussed the go, now let's look at the woe. Braking is by way of ventilated discs at the front with large capacity drum brakes at the rear. A load sensing proportioning valve ensures optimum brake balance front to rear under varying loads. Now, what this means to your customer is safety, but because the brake balance is adjusted with the load, it reduces brake wear, which means reduced costs of ownership. Well, that was pace. Now it's time for the grace. Time for the grace department. Cosmetic changes to the 2002 model lineup include a grille with black inner and outer sections on the DX, which also has a grey bumper with a black steel insert. The LX range features the same multi-reflector flush headlights as the previous model LT. The grille outer section is body coloured with a black inner grille. Now, the front bumper is grey without the black steel insert of the DX. The LT range continues to feature multi-reflector flush-mounted headlamps. The grille outer section is body coloured with the black inner section as featured on the LX. However, the bumpers are painted in the lower body colour to make a stronger visual impact. The Holden logo is featured on the grille of all models except the 2.8 litre turbo diesel crew cab, which continues with the Holden badge. There's a new colour called Foxfire Red available on the LX models. LT and LT Sport get red over light silver metallic as well as Cape Blue metallic over Kaiser silver metallic and white over light silver metallic. But the real story is under the paint. It's right down there on the panel metal. Key panels including the cabin floor, front and rear bulkheads, door frames and the doors themselves are galvanised. At the front, galvanisation includes the inner and outer guards, bonnet and the front panels. In the pickup, it covers areas such as the sides, inside the cargo tray, including the tailgate, and probably the most important, the cargo bed or floor. Now, this ensures that the 2002 Rodeo continues to resist corrosion, thus maintaining its good looks for longer. And what that means for your customer is that this helps Rodeo to command higher resale price, thereby lowering the cost of ownership. Think about this. This cab is the operator's office. At times they'll be in here for hours on end, and other times they might be in and out of this space all day long. Now in your office, you would expect an easy access, and so do they. Look at how wide the doors open on this Rodeo mobile office. In your office, you'd expect to have a comfortable chair that can be adjusted to just the right position to reach your workstation. That's what you find in the Rodeo mobile office. Now, just because the Holden Rodeo is a commercial vehicle doesn't mean that the driver has to be built like a brick outhouse. Variable ratio power steering is standard on all models except the base model 2.2 petrol. At low speed, the power steering assistance is at the max, while at higher speeds, the level of assistance drops off. What this means to your customer is ease of operation at low speed and a greater level of control at highway speeds. The one-piece door glass means there's an uninterrupted view of both the road and the large external rearview mirrors. This eliminates the chance of losing somebody in the blind spot. And when you're sitting in your office, you don't expect to get injured, and neither do your Rodeo customers. In the Rodeo mobile office, we have a collapsible steering column, side impact beams located in the doors, and retractable seat belts at all outboard positions. And dual airbags are available in selected single, space and crew cab models. Instruments are laid out for easy reading, and the seat trim is tough to go the distance. And just like your office, there's a swag of storage space. And of course, air conditioning is available. Now while we're in the cab, it's a good time to talk about four-wheel drive operation. Other than the 4x4 LT sports models, all other four-wheel drive models feature selectable four-wheel drive. Now the driver can select either two-wheel drive or four-wheel high range without stopping. But remember, the front hubs have to be engaged for four-wheel drive to work. Now these hubs provide positive engagement and disengagement to reduce wear and tear on the front axle and diff assemblies. And they also increase fuel efficiency when the vehicle is being operated in two-wheel drive. Now it's vital that you make sure your customer knows that the vehicle has to be at a full stop before changing from four-wheel high to four-wheel low. That's because the difference in the ratios is such that damage will be done to the transfer case and the engine if they ignore the warning. But what about the 4x4 LT Sport? Well, they're equipped with shift on the fly. The transfer case and the axle assemblies are the same as on the other 4x4 models, except that when you move the selector from two-wheel to four-wheel high, the front hubs automatically engage. And what this means to your customer is convenience. But remember, the vehicle still has to be stopped before four-wheel low range is selected. Okay, so we've looked at pace and grace. Now let's talk about space. This is what your customer is buying. You have to understand that the back half is possibly even more important than the front half. You need to know as much about this end as you do about that end. If you worked in a hardware store and somebody came in to ask to buy a shovel, you wouldn't just point to a collection of shovels against the wall and tell them to make their choice. You'd ask questions like, what do they want to dig in? How deep does the hole need to be? How many holes do they need to dig? Who's doing the digging? And if you were clever, you might even ask what they were going to do with whatever it was that they dug up, because you might be able to help them buy a wheelbarrow as well. Well, it's no different when you're helping somebody buy a light commercial vehicle. You need to know what they'll be loading to determine which is the best body style for you to recommend. For instance, if they're loading boxes, then a wooden floor is great because it offers slip resistance to the load, helping to keep it in place. On the other hand, if they're loading bricks like builders do by chucking them on, or if they're loading pallets with high point loading, then a heavier duty metal checker plate floor is required. You should know the sideboard heights that are available from your chosen bodybuilder. Some customers would benefit from higher sides, such as farmers or couriers. If you know what you can offer, then you're better able to suggest solutions to your customers' needs. The next thing you need to know is how will they be loading it. Now, if they're going to load it manually, this floor height is important. If they're using a forklift, then a drop side tray would be more suitable than a pickup style. And of course, if they're loading pallets, remember that the standard Shep pallet used in Australia is 1200 millimetres square. If you're helping them buy a tray body, then point out the features of the tray bodies that you use. Things like the rope rails. A lot of bodybuilders don't cut the rope rail to facilitate getting fuel into the vehicle. Now, it might be easier for the bodybuilder, but it isn't easier for your customer. And don't forget to talk about load boards. The Rodeo Pickup's load board can be removed by simply unbolting. And what this means to your customer is that they can fit a canopy to the pickup. The load board then can be replaced at a later date. The usual thing is for them to be cut off with an angle grinder, and that's not a good look. Remember, your customer will judge how good the Rodeo is based upon the entire vehicle, and that includes the body. They won't tell their mates at the pub that their Rodeo is great, but Bob the bodybuilder's body is crook. They'll tell their mates that the Rodeo is crook because the body is falling apart or not doing what they wanted it to do. And you know that commercial vehicles are bought, or more importantly, not bought, based upon mates' recommendations. Spend some time talking to your preferred bodybuilder. Get to know their product, because their product will have a big influence on the performance of your product. And the performance of your product will have a big influence on your level of remuneration. And remember, there are 8 body mounting points on a single cab Rodeo, and there's 6 on the Space and Crew cabs. Make sure your bodybuilder uses all of them. While it's easier for him to use just 4, your customer will suffer, and so will your reputation. Now, before we say farewell, let's go over an area that is little understood by many people: commercial vehicle terminology. If you're going to walk the light commercial walk, you need to talk the light commercial talk. First is GVM, or gross vehicle mass. Now, this is the all-up weight of the vehicle, including passengers, body and payload. It's the maximum weight that the vehicle is allowed to weigh if we parked it on a set of scales. It's determined by wheels, tyres, springs, axles and chassis ratings. The next is GCM, or gross combined mass. Now, this is the total combined weight of a loaded vehicle plus a loaded trailer. It's the maximum weight that the vehicle and loaded trailer can weigh if we park them on a set of scales. Now, it's determined by the same things as GVM: tyres, wheels, springs, axles and chassis ratings, plus tow bar rate, and especially if the trailer is equipped with or without brakes. Now, you also need to understand curb mass. This is the weight of the vehicle as delivered from the manufacturer, unoccupied and unladen. Curb mass includes the weight of a full tank of fuel. Now, you'll find these figures in the Rodeo brochure. But why is it important that you understand curb mass and GVM? Because these two figures form part of the equation that determines the carrying capacity of a light commercial vehicle. How much you can carry on a light commercial vehicle isn't determined by how much you can chuck on before stuff starts to fall off. It's determined by subtracting from the gross vehicle mass, that's the maximum weight of the vehicle, which is allowed to weigh if we put it on a set of scales, subtracting from that the curb mass. Now, what's left is how much the vehicle can carry, or carrying capacity. But carrying capacity isn't the same as payload. Now, if we're helping your customer to buy a Rodeo pickup, working out the payload is a pretty simple process. The body weight is already included in the curb mass figure as printed in the brochure. But if you're helping your customer buy a Rodeo with a tray body, it's a bit trickier because now you have to understand the difference between carrying capacity and payload. When it comes to a tray-bodied vehicle, the weight of the body has to be deducted from the carrying capacity to determine what the payload is. And don't forget that the weight of any accessories that are added to the vehicle will reduce the payload. Confused? Well, don't be. Look, it's simple. Now, these two publications will make you look and sound like an expert. The first is the Rodeo weight and trailer calculation sheets. Now, these are available from Holden. They're designed to help you ask your customer the right questions to ensure that you're not helping them buy the wrong vehicle. Use it. If you haven't got one, get one and use it. As a bonus, it has definitions of gross vehicle mass, gross combined mass, curb mass, carrying capacity and payload on the inside front cover, along with Rodeo accessory weights, typical body weights and the weight of commonly loaded commodities. Here's a quick quiz. How many bags of cement make up a tonne? 50? 40? Don't know. It's on the inside cover and it's 24. Why is that important? Because if your customer tells you that they want to carry 40 bags of cement in one load and you sell them a Rodeo, both you and they have got a problem. The second book is the Rodeo Bodybuilder Guide. Every dealership's been issued with this indispensable book. Do yourself a favour, go find it. If you can't find it, take the necessary steps to obtain one from Holden, then read it, and you'll know more about helping people to buy a light commercial vehicle than most other salespeople. Well, that's it from us. You've got the products, you've now got the information. Go and put it to good use by helping your customers to buy what is arguably Australia's best value light commercial vehicle, the Holden Rodeo.